Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy.
where we give you the courtesy of conversation.
That's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac,
I'm Wesley.
and this is the show. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to catch us every Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific time on the Friday Fix, and our other shows, Civil Discourse, Plays and Parlays, and UFC with LT. So, Senor Wesley, how's your day going?
Oh, it's good, man. How about yours?
It's all right. My back is thrown out. I'm feeling old.
And you'll get past it, man. You'll get past it. I know who I don't think is going to get past this right here, but they're trying to kind of, they're trying to kind of pivot off of it right now. You know what I mean? This guy Trump right now, man. He's having some real serious issues right now, and
he's throwing it all out there. He's like, "Look, I gotta hit the playbook." Rosie O'Donnell didn't do it.
You feel me? It didn't work. This whole Obama thing didn't work. We also got to talk about that as well too today. This whole Obama, the Russia thing. That's his go-to thing. Now I think he's trying to just make everything out to be. Remember when this happened? Well, this is the same as this. But the only way I think you're gonna get away from this, buddy, is by putting out the files. As Trump threatens the Wall Street Journal over a new Epstein report, his picture claim looks sketchy. It's not as if the political world needed an excuse to keep focusing on the Jeffrey Epstein scandal, but the Wall Street Journal advanced the controversy with its new report on a 2003 birthday album collected by former Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell, which reportedly included a letter bearing Donald Trump's name. The letter, the journal reported, was among the documents examined by the Justice Department officials who investigated Epstein and Maxwell years ago, according to people who have reviewed the pages from the article. The letter bearing Trump's name, which was reviewed by the journal, is bawdy, which others like it in the album. It contains several lines of typewritten text framed by the outline of a naked woman, which appears to be hand-drawn with a heavy marker. A pair of small arcs denotes the woman's breast, and the future president's signature is squiggly, Donald, below her waist, mimicking pubic hair. The letter concludes, "Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret." The fact that Trump and the late millionaire pedophile had a relationship is not new. In fact, not only have we all seen the video footage of the two men hanging out, but as my MSNBC colleague James Downey noted in 2002, a year before the birthday album came together, Trump told New York Magazine, "I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It's even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side." Years later, he said the two had a falling out and that they hadn't been in touch for 15 years before Epstein's death in 2019. But in light of the ongoing controversy, the Wall Street Journal's reporting about the 2003 letter, which has not been independently verified by MSNBC, delivered another jolt to the political world about a story the White House desperately wants to go away. For his part, Trump has had quite a bit to say about the newspaper's reporting, publishing separate items in his social media platform, explaining that he initially tried to convince the journal not to publish the report. After his appeals were ignored, he announced plans to file a lawsuit. Kind of crazy, man. What do you think about that?
It's crazy. I've been seeing stuff online, and they're talking about how, after his economic policies, what that's doing right now, it's it's messing up the bottom line of billionaires. Right. And so people are seeing an out right now because, you have to realize Rupert Murdoch owns the Wall Street Journal. And for him to go at Trump, this is the number one leading person that gives, he's like number one leading Republican media.
He not only owns the Wall Street Journal, what else does he own?
He owns Fox News. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And so for him to let this hit piece come out on Trump shows that they're kind of tired of him. He's messing up the bottom line. They got the big, beautiful bill to pass. They don't need him anymore. You know what I'm saying? They're going to get they're getting their money regardless. And they realize, just like I've been saying, no one can control this man. And they're saying that, he's in early stage dementia. And if his heart's not going to give out, the dementia is going to get to him. And from that, people say, hey, from somebody that first is on dementia, you can't control them. You can't tell them nothing. And it shows with him just wiling out all the time.
And at the same time, he's saying that he doesn't draw. He's like, I don't even draw. But they've come out with like so many other drawings. He actually was submitting a drawing like every year, a handwritten drawing every year to some contest where, like, it was pictures of like the New York skyline, all kind of little doodles that he would do. They've had a lot of other stuff. I guess Murdoch kind of already knew that this would happen this way, so he set traps for him to come out and say, "Oh, so now if you sue him for this, there's going to be repercussions. He's going to be able to ask questions and all." I mean, with this, it's not so much as linked to what Epstein was doing. It's more linked to, did you actually write this, draw these pictures? So he may not be able to get the information, but depending on how far this thing goes, I may start accusing you of more things.
Yeah,
that I can probably prove.
You know, it's crazy because he decided he did sue him. He said he's suing him.
$10 million.
Yeah, he hasn't sued anybody else for anything else.
10 million or 10 billion? What was it?
I think it was 10 million. Yeah, it's probably 10 million. 10 million. But I mean, you can see he's losing it. Like this is something he just can't shake off. This is something I'll say maybe a quarter of his supporters, maybe even half. You know what I'm saying? They're splintered because they're like, nah, you told us we would see this. That's one thing Americans agree on, the majority of us. We don't like people touching little kids. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. And so for them to hide it, for Pam Bodie to, actively being in there, telling people to, flag anytime it says Trump's name in there, she's with it. She's like, hey, you know what I'm saying? We're going to protect you, which is crazy because I don't know if she has kids or not. But I mean,
but at the end of the day, they work for him. You got to look at it like Kash Patel. You work for him. Dan, what was his name? I forget his name.
In a couple days either.
Yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is they're going to have to be okay with this. They're not going to step down over their positions and lose all this when they know that they're about to try to cover up this entire case. Like we need to talk about, like I said later on, the whole Obama thing. They're trying to do. They basically pushed Tulsi Gabbard out in front of everybody and said, you know what, you already messed up with the whole Iran thing. You came out and said they didn't have nukes. You messed up with that. I had to come out and say, I don't care what you say. I don't care what you had to say. You better get out in front of this and make it right. So she had to step out and bite the bullet and go try to make this thing right. But at the same time, it's weird that she's the one even talking about any of this because she has direct ties to Russia. Everyone's talked about it. You know what I mean? Yeah, so it's just
that too. And then they have the video of Obama coming out after the election. He was like, look, we looked at it. There was nothing wrong with the machines. No vote. All the votes were counted. You know what I'm saying? He won fair and square. You know what I'm saying? It was after he was out of office is when the Democrats started going, oh, Russia Gate and all this stuff. He was already gone. They were happy to clear house. Him and Michelle was like, I'm out of this place.
The matter is, man, there's nothing they can do to Obama, period. He's been given immunity just
they're not going after him. They're going after anything about it. Work for him.
I don't think they're even going to go after them either. I just don't really think they're going to do that. I think all this is a cover-up for this whole entire Epstein thing that we're talking about. I mean, it's like this. If you're writing letters talking about, a one big wonderful secret to a pedophile, bro, like what kind of secrets are you guys keeping?
A known pedophile too.
You know what I mean? Like, what kind of secrets are we keeping at this point where I'm going to write that in a letter? What dude writes, may this be one big, beautiful secret? I know a letter to another dude, bro.
Guys that can't get driver's licenses yet. That's what kind of secrets they're keeping.
It seems like it, man. It seems like there's a lot more to be said. I mean, they got women who've come out and actually spoke out and said that, hey, this, he groped him. Now, I had one of Jeffrey Epstein's former girlfriends. I think it was on MSNBC or CNN, one of the two, came out and was like, yeah, he groped me in front of Jeffrey Epstein, and Epstein was mad about it later on or whatever. But she said, and the fact of the matter is Epstein admitted this in a deposition or some type of to a police. It's a recorded conversation where he admitted it to like a police officer or something like that, or or some type of investigator. You know what I mean? So what she's saying is true. I'm not saying it was illegal what he did. She didn't say anything about it. But the fact of the matter is, this is the kind of stuff they had going on. You know what I mean? So, we'll keep you guys, updated on the story. I know the story is kind of getting, the fact right now is getting stale because they're trying to hold out any of the information they don't want us to know. They're trying to make sure we stay off topic. But I know that, you have a pretty good one next about a former associate.
They're trying. And so what I have here is Epstein's lawyer says Ghislaine Maxwell knows everything and should get immunity to testify before Congress. Jeffrey Epstein's former defense lawyer wants the financier, co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, to receive immunity if she testifies before Congress. Maxwell, 63, is serving a 20-year prison sentence after she was convicted of child sex trafficking and other charges in 2021. In connection with Epstein. She is appealing her conviction. Now attorney Alan Dershowitz says she knows everything about Epstein's sex trafficking case and prepared to testify before Congress if she's granted immunity. She knows everything. She's the Rosetta Stone. She knows everything. She arranged every trip with everybody. She knows everything, Dershowitz said on Fox News Sunday. If she were just given use immunity, she could be compelled to testify, he added. I'm told that she actually would be willing to testify, and there'd be no reason for her to withhold any information. Epstein died by suicide in New York jail cell in August 2019. While facing federal sex trafficking charges, he had pled guilty to separate prostitution charges in 2008. Dorshowitz says he doesn't see any negative in granting Maxwell immunity to testify about her co-conspirator. Now, she did an interview back in I think it was the year he died or the year afterwards. And she was like, no, I believed he was murdered. You know what I'm saying? And then they talked to Epstein's father and they were like, yeah, I know he was murdered, or his brother. And his brother was like, Donald Trump probably killed him. You know what I'm saying? Because he died on, yeah, his brother came out and said that in an interview.
I mean, it's a good chance. I mean, like, he probably was like, Donald, you better get me up out of here, bro, as we all going down at the end of the day. She's ready to come out and testify. I mean, you guys let anybody testify against anybody these days. So why not go out and give her some kind of, I wouldn't even care if they let her free. I wouldn't care if they let her free for her testimony. Tell everything she knows.
Yeah, tell everybody. That's the thing they don't. It wasn't Donald Trump that had her.
Where the bodies are hidden.
It's all the people that he has evidence on, and the people. I don't even think it's not the people, because you could take the people down. That's fine. It's the people that were gathering the information that they don't want it to get out about. You know what I'm saying? Whatever foreign country was gathering this information about U.S. politicians to be able to blackmail them. That's the issue right there. That's what I think is going on. You know what I'm saying? Because they should let her out and let her testify. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand why. Think about it. The Republicans are blocking the files from coming out, which is for what reason? What reason do you have to block a sex trafficking market of high profile clients?
At the end of the day, man, do whatever it takes to get her. I mean, to get her testimony. Yeah. Give her give her 5 more years left or something like that. I think she got a 20 piece or something, didn't she? They gave her a dub. You know what I mean? Like, go ahead and say, you know what? We'll give you 5 years. You testify and tell us what you know. Here. Then they got to keep her away from everybody, because they're going to be trying to, give her all kind of. I'll give you this. I'll give you that. Her dad was a former Israeli spy. Like, I think he worked for the Mossad or something like that, for Israeli intelligence. Her dad was. So it all kind of links back.
It always goes back to the usual suspects.
And the cool part about it, said that when Epstein was found guilty, I want to say, I don't think it was on this case right here, maybe, but I think it was the one maybe before, one of the two. He ran back to Israel for like 7 or 9 months or something like that. He went there and like stayed there because they don't have an extradition treaty with the United States.
And actually, that's where a lot of sex offenders go.
60 of them. They said 60 of them since this time Epstein's went. 60 of them are out there. 60 of them went, and then some of them have reoffended in Israel. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, and then what's his name? Jeffrey Epstein. He stayed there until his deal was done. Then he came back to America. You know what I'm saying? So just like I said, it goes back to that same usual country that we just keep trying to brush under the rug.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems, like I say, it seems like there's a lot going on with this. I don't know why everyone's afraid to let this people talk. You know what I mean? You guys want anyone else to talk, you guys will do anything else to let anyone else. I mean, you can find a person who has a drug case, and you'll let this person get free, be free. A person who murdered somebody can go free. Look at Young Thug's case. You guys have talked to Lil Woody and Young Thug's case and was like, hey, we don't care who you murdered. We don't care who you shot. What you did. Just tell us. Tell us
Rich homie Quan's dad's barbershop.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, it is crazy because y'all want to let them people go testify against each other. But you know what I'm saying? And let this person go free who shot, maimed, and murdered. But you won't let somebody go and tell who, where the bodies are hidden, or where the kitty are hidden right now. It's because crazy to me.
They're trying to protect people that pay them money, which is crazy. It's like your money's over your priorities and your dignity and your morals. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it makes sense. This nation was kind of built on that. Like, they weren't just like, murdering all the little native children. They were, and the black children, they were doing them too. You know what I'm saying? So it runs deep. It runs deep.
True. Trump's spy chief claims the Obama administration manufactured intel on Russia. Here's the cover up now. You know what I mean? Now we get to the cover up. The Office of the Director of National Intelligence, or ODNI, has published the latest in a series of recent Trump administration reports aimed at scrutinizing years-old intelligence community conclusions about Russian interference in the 2016 U.S. presidential election in favor of Donald Trump. For years, President Trump has spread disinformation about those conclusions, calling the entire Russia investigation a hoax, despite supporting evidence that has been statistically reviewed by intelligence agencies, lawmakers, and Department of Justice lawyers. On Friday afternoon, ODNI published a press release asserting that its director, Tulsi Gabbard, revealed overwhelming evidence that President Obama and his national security officials manufactured and politicized intelligence to launch a years-long coup against President Trump. Gabbard echoed those conclusions across social media platforms X and True Social and in interviews on Fox News in the days that followed. Among the materials Gabbard declassified are emails and memos published under the banner of the new Directors Initiative Group, formed to execute President Trump's executive orders aimed at rebuilding trust in the intelligence community. In those files, Obama officials exchanged correspondence about Russian attempts at election interference, concluding that it was unlikely Russian hackers would successfully compromise physical election infrastructure or alter vote totals without detection, but might be successful in influencing voter confidence in the election. There is no indication of a Russian threat to directly manipulate the actual vote count through cyber means, wrote ODNI officials whose name was redacted in a newly published email. However, as seen in recent media reporting, any cyber activity directed against the election infrastructure is likely to have an effect on public confidence, they continued. So basically, this is his cover-up scheme right here to say, you know what, let's get rid of this Epstein thing. Because he's been saying this is a hoax from Obama. It's like almost a setup. You really look at it. He started bringing up this is a Biden Democratic hoax. They wrote the Epstein files. Like, how they wrote the Epstein files, huh? It's crazy to me that you use that and you let people really actually, people may believe it though, because you said it. Some of your people may go off of it and believe it, but they're not using what you're saying. What they're doing is just trying to use the whole entire, the about face that you're pulling with this whole entire Obama, his intel chiefs, Brandon, James Comey, Hillary Clinton. They're using that as a new talking point because they want to get away so far away from you being actually probably what you really are. And I think those files tell us who you really are, but that's why you're afraid to release them.
Of course. I mean, look, he's going through the whole playbook, right? He's starting from the he's like, he didn't bring up Hillary Clinton yet. He was like Rosie O'Donnell. As soon as he went to Rosie O'Donnell, I said, oh, this guy's cooked.
You know how he's trying, like you said, it's the old playbook. He's trying to go back through what's worked for him before because he knows this is a bad one for you. He didn't want during this election when they brought it up to him. Hey, we're gonna release the Epstein files. He's you know what I mean, like just start stuttering. It was crazy, you know what I mean? Like so, we all. I mean, even people who I know who are very staunch Trump and MAGA supporters, man. Even ones who I know who are like, this is who they are. They're like, I said, you think he's in them? Probably. You know what I mean? Probably, yeah. I mean, but you're okay with that, man? It's crazy to me that you're okay with knowing that this person who I'm sitting here defending is a person who, you know what I mean, who prefers to mess around with children, man. And that's sad,
whole thing
man.
Is you got to look really at the person you just said that to. Think about this. You just said, hey, you think he's in those files? They're like, yep. You still support him? They're like, yep. Well, what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? That's an easy line to draw. Either you like fucking little kids or you don't. And you think it's disgusting. There's no in between. Like, well, what is a teenager, R. Kelly? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no in between, bro.
There is no in between with this situation right here. It's either you understand that, you know what, it doesn't. And the fact of the matter is, in their minds, I've had a bunch of people, I'm trying to tell me, who cares? They said that. You know what I mean? Like, who cares? It's something not like you should care about that. That should matter. It should matter who is leading our country. It should matter who you vote for. It should matter the integrity of the person that you vote for. That's a big thing to me.
Nah, they don't care no more, bro. Look at look. He was already accused of rape. I mean, found guilty of sexual assault multiple times. He said, grab him by the coochie. You know what I'm saying? They let you do it. All the evidence was always there.
It was. Remember when he said he walks into the room? He had the Miss Teen. Yeah, like he had the Miss Teen pageant or something like that. He was like, you walk in there and they're naked and everything. I was like, you're walking on teenagers that you know, like kids, man. Kids. You want to walk in on children? I mean, you know, to me, like you're under 18, bro. You're a kid. Even when you're 18, 19, 20, you're still a kid to me, lightweight. You know what I mean? I'm looking at you like you're a kid. You know what I mean? Because you are to me. I'm a little older. I'm not trying to knock you for who you are. You're over 18. You're quasi an adult, but you're young. You know? And so, I mean, imagine getting to 13, 11, 10, It's crazy to me that a person, what are you getting from something like that? What, and it's just, I don't know. To me, I almost came to a point to where I thought that this Wall Street Journal story was a hand me. Because you think about it like this, even with the Russiagate thing right there, that was almost a hand me, like, because someone handed that to the Democrats and they ran with it, and it was a false story. But not everything about what was going on was false. There's a lot of truth to it, but you guys bit on the big thing, and it made everything look like it was lie. This is another thing right here with this his letter that he wrote to him. I mean, are we gonna bite on this now and then everything's a lie? Like I say, I don't really know, man, if Obama and those guys, they're trying to say they manufactured the story about all this, and then they try to basically go after him for a year for being a part of in collusion with Russia, even though he did some things that were in collusion with Russia. Hey, if you got those emails, send them to me. And I think it was like 6 hours later or 18 hours later, whatever it was.
They put them out.
All these emails from. I mean, come on, man. That's not a coincidence.
The Obama, Russia interfered with the election. The way they interfere with the election is that they just played on the stupidity of Americans. They were on the internet acting like Americans, putting up false. I mean, they were standing up rallies that weren't even real. People were showing up to them like, "Oh, I thought it was a rally." They're like, "No, it was just." They duped you. They duped a lot of people to not like Hillary Clinton. You got fooled. They spent a year of that. You know what I'm saying? That was that. They were investigated. He had his whole first term to go after these people. You know what I'm saying? This is all the distraction.
Same information. He had this before.
He's trying to just stop what's about to happen to him. He's losing it. It's over for him. They're going to kick him out.
I don't think nothing's going to happen to him.
I think the country's going to fracture because look, JD Vance he met with Rupert Murdoch before this hit piece came out. You know what I'm saying? Like they're saying JD Vance is the runner up for 2028. Trump got a picture in the White House with a hat that says Trump 2028. Did you see that when he unveiled it with the curtain? He was like, "Hey, look at this." And he opened up. He's like, "What you think about that? How you like that?" To the reporter. You didn't see that, did you? This guy, he's wilding out. Think about it. As soon as he gets that, oh, they're trying to get rid of me. He gonna burn it to the ground.
You know what else they did, right? I mean, he just said that he's releasing all a bunch of Martin Luther King files, right? And his family, Martin Luther King's family, they came out and they're like, "Man, we don't want you to release him," probably because it says a lot of very negative things about Martin Luther King. Maybe he was cheating on his wife. Maybe he was saying, any little thing that he was doing. Yeah. But who cares? Not to say that's between him and his wife. That ain't got nothing to do with the rest of the world. That ain't got nothing to do with me, what he had going on with him and his wife. And in contextual terms of what his daughter was like, "Please, I want you guys, when you view this stuff, to hold it in contextual terms." I don't care because these people were what he did was something great for all of us. I don't care if he was a perfect person when he did it or not. He did something great for all of us. He was not the president of the United States. That's what he wasn't. He was an individual who stood up for the rights of everyone else. That's what he did. So that's a separate entity from being a person who we look at as being the leader of the free world, the person who represents us to the entire world. Different situation. But you know what she said? She was like, "Okay, now release the Epstein files now."
Well, they were like, everyone was like, Hillary Clinton came out, but like, no, it's still whatever. You can say whatever you want. It's not going to distract from the fact that you're friends with Jeffrey Epstein. You know, this is not going away. It's not going to go away for him. They're going to try. They can release whatever files, but it's not going to be all the files. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's going to go away from him, man. I think right now he understands media so well. You should see Fox is really behind him on. They've been really pushing this whole entire Tulsi Gabbard, Barack Obama, this whole thing. Oh, a bombshell story. They came out. They gave him Maria Bartiromo. I mean, she's one of their big ones right there. You know what I mean? So. I think that they're going to try to make this go away, man. I think that people we're finicky when it comes to news cycles, anyways.
Check it out. Republicans may hate Barack Obama, but they hate sexual offenders worse.
I don't believe that. I mean, I think we just talked about that a little bit earlier, didn't we? When you talk, we don't have to talk about the case. I know you got another one to do, but
yeah, I'm telling you, I don't see it going away for him.
I think it's already starting to die, man. When you start looking at who's really still talking about him, you got a few news outlets still talking about it, but he's not going to release the paperwork. And what they're going to do is keep talking about it. If people keep digging through what's there and talking to people who are a part of it, it can still hold a little bit of life until you force him to release all this paperwork.
Yeah, we shall see. Native Americans rail against Trump's call to change Commander's name back. Native American groups fought for years to get the city's National Football League team to change its name. Now, President Donald Trump wants to change it back to a moniker many Native Americans consider offensive and disrespectful. No Native American child should have to sit through a pep rally or in a stadium where their culture is being mocked, said Jacqueline DeLon, senior staff attorney for a Native American Rights Fund. Trump threatened over the weekend to block a deal to build a stadium in Washington, D.C. if the Washington Commanders team refused to revert to the name it had from 1937 when the team moved from Boston until 2020. The Washington whatevers should immediately change their name back to the Washington Redskins football team, Trump posted on Truth Social site. I may put a restriction on them if they don't change the name back to the original Washington Redskins and get rid of this ridiculous moniker, Washington Commanders. In a post the same day, Trump said Native Americans would welcome the change. Our great Indian people in massive numbers want this to happen, he wrote in the post that also encouraged the Cleveland Guardians to revert to a former name. Their heritage and prestige is systematically being taken away from them. Times are different now. There were times are different now than they were 3 or 4 years ago. We are a country of passion and common sense. Owners, get it done. Dude, Native American, but that's not what USA Today found when reaching out to Native American activists. Native Americans are not mascots, said Savannah Romero, a member of the enrolled member of the East Shoshone Nation, who urged city councils not to yield to the name change. We are a language keeper, land protector, survivors of attempted genocide, and part of a sovereign nation, Romero, co-founder and deputy director of the BLIS, Black Liberation Indigenous Sovereignty Collective, said in a statement. To equate Native people with cartoonish mascots alongside animals is gross and ongoing tactic of dehumanization. Yeah. I said it. I had it, Wes. I got hooked on
phonics. This is what I'm going to say, man. This dude is just stupid. We got to think about who we're talking about. We're talking about the same person who called Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas. A Native American, they were giving them awards. I think they were giving like Purple Hearts or something for them being a part of, I can't remember which war, maybe it was World War II or something like that. You know what I mean? But they were giving awards away to Native Americans. He starts talking about Pocahontas and started making fun of her. Now you're going in saying Indians. I don't, most people who I know call themselves Native Americans. You guys are the ones who brought in this Indian thing to the table, first of all. And what would I had a conversation with somebody. I'm like, I'd be like calling a team the Washington Blackskins. Yeah, we want to hear that, but
they called them Indians because Columbus, for some reason, thought he was going to India,
the West Indies.
No, yeah. He thought so he saw them. He's like, oh, they're Indians. That's where that name comes from. And the people in India aren't even real Indians. You know what I'm saying? They're not Indians. That was given to them by colonization. They're called something else. So there's no such thing as an Indian in this world. You know what I'm saying? They just made it up. And to call the tribal people here Indians is wild. They're tribe. They're from a tribe. They're people. First of all, they're people, but they're from separate tribes. You know what I'm saying? Why don't they ask the commanders, hey, make it the Whiteskins?
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy to me that this person has the audacity. All you want to do is try to you're using every trick in the book. He's told the Washington Commanders that he's going to try to maybe stall them getting a stadium built that they already have approval for. He's going to try to block that from being done if they don't change their name back. This dude you got to a point to where, I mean, yeah, we had a bunch of people in this country think that things went too far. That happened for most of the Europeans in this country, that they were the ones who thought that way. They felt like things were going too far another way they couldn't control. But this whole entire thing is uncontrollable at this point in time. From a global standpoint, for you guys, is uncontrollable. So I mean, to bring in people.
My bad to cut you off, Wes. The whole thing is, look, it's racist.
Absolutely.
You may not feel it's racist because it doesn't affect you. You know what I'm saying? If they change the Washington Commanders name to the Washington Sister Fuckers and put a picture of you with your sister on it, would you feel offended? I'm just saying, wouldn't you? They'd feel offended. You know what I'm saying? So you got to understand that's exactly how it feels when you look and they call it the Redskins. I ain't never met a red person a day in my life.
You got to look at it.
Look at the Indians, right? They had to do with the feather and the bucko teeth and come on now, bro. It's racist. It's always been racism. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay because it doesn't affect you.
You got to remember. You got to remember too. Like, it's like the reason why they got rid of Uncle Ben's and Aunt Jemima, things like that. People don't really realize the imagery that has been placed that has really affected the entire world, infected the entire world. You can go anywhere around the world, and the way that they treat people who have lighter skin is markedly different than the way they treat people who have darker skin. They could be of the same race. They could be of the same everything. You know what I mean? You can go places like, Dominican Republic or Brazil, anywhere. You can go like places in Asia. The same exact thing occurs. It's because we've had an infection of of Europeans who traversed the globe and left that type of thinking around the globe. Even though as we go forward, these same people will no longer hold on to power. I think they've left an indelible mark on people around the world as far as what we should think about race and and who is smarter, who is better, or anything else. And what they've done is erase a lot of people's history too at the same exact time and try to make their history other people. It's like a lot of stolen history, pretty much.
Yeah, it is. And then the whole thing, but we're here in America, like the tribes don't want this because, like I said, once again, they're not Indians. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no such thing as an Indian in America. These are native people. They're from tribes. These are actually Americans. They're actually the real Americans. So let's just put that out there. There's a name change for a reason. And it's all a distraction. But I'm saying he knows how to rile up his base and to get people talking. Anything to get away from Epstein. He's like, I'll go full-blown racist on this. I'll go full-blown racist and attack Obama on the side. Boom, little fry side, little extra shake. You know what I'm saying?
Anything just to get him talking.
Just to get him talking and stop talking about him sleeping with young girls. That's he's admitted to. He's like, I like him young. It's certain, some of them age out for him. And it's a sad state that you're going to have to threaten, because that's the reason they're saying Stephen Colbert got fired too from the late night show, is because he went on this whole rant about Donald Trump, right? And they didn't fire him because of the rant. They fired him because Paramount's trying to sell the company. And when they sell the company, the only person that can stop the sale is the executive branch. And they don't want nothing to come back. So they're like, hey, get rid of this guy. We're going to get rid of you. And that was their top rated show, the late night show.
That's crazy. How do you sell that? How do you sell that to somebody? You get rid of your top rated show, and now you're trying to sell something that's going to be worth a little bit less, but it's really you're selling your catalog. It's just too bad that we're at this point in time where we're allowing a person who has this type of a history, who has this type of a way of thinking to run the world, man. And we've allowed the people who voted for him at the same time. The people who voted for him are even worse than who he is, because they allowed themselves to be duped. You know what I mean? Not fully, because I think some of you are into the stuff that he's into.
No, they're into it. I was watching. I can't remember the guy's name. I just saw his picture on my feed, but he was doing an interview. What is his name? Mahdi Hassan, where he's interviewing the college students. Have you seen that video?
Yeah, the 20v1. The 20v1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and one of the kids was up there. He's like, "Oh, I love it. I think he should infringe on the Constitution more."
Fascist. He's like, "Yeah, I am that." The guy's crazy. It's like, we shouldn't have nothing. We should have one vote and then never have another vote again. You know what I mean? That we should have a king here in this country. These guys want to be ran. Half of them, when I look at you, I don't want to ever hear you say anything about anyone else, because you guys, the way you're acting about this, about your fellow man, is kind of strange.
Well, they're looking
really
at it
strange.
Human, you know what I'm saying? They look at themselves as gods, because they got to be raised. It's a crazy world of affairs that's going to come crashing down pretty soon, because it looks like they're eating themselves from the inside out right now. And we're going to keep you updated on that, ladies and gentlemen, because once again, this is Uncommon Courtesy. Until next time.